Hello and welcome to episode number 8 of Empowering Women Through Fitness. I am your host, Bridget, Therese, and thank you for joining me for episode 8. Yes, that's right, we've been doing this for 2 months now, so I'm super excited, and I appreciate everybody who watches every week, watches on the replay, so I appreciate you guys so much. So thanks for always supporting me and listening to these amazing stories from women from around the world. And today I am so excited because we are talking to Lori, who is all the way from New Zealand. So I'm so excited. It's like Friday in the afternoon already, her time. So she's ahead of us. But she is joining us today to share her story. So as soon as I see her pop on, we will go ahead and add her. There she is. But I want to introduce Lori. She's been, we met through an online fitness group. She's an amazing online coach as well, and she has a really powerful story. She's empowering other women, so I really wanted to share her story with all of you guys. So if you're watching for the first time, thank you for being here. If you're watching on the replay, give me a replay comment. And again, if you have anybody you think would be inspired by this, feel free to share this video with them, tag. And as always, if you guys have questions during the show or after the show on the replays, please comment in the section or in the comment section below, and we will both go back and answer any questions you have. So I'm going to go ahead and invite her to join us. She will be on here in just a second and we'll get started. So we just got to wait for Facebook to connect. Thank God Facebook is working today. And then this wasn't scheduled for yesterday. So here she comes. We are connecting. There she is. Hi, Lori.
Oh, hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. There's a little bit of an echo.
Yeah, I have my AirPods in.
We'll give her a second to get that figured out. That's always the complicated portion of this, combining people in the beginning. Hey, Julia, thanks for watching. Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
No.
Sorry, check.
We're going to give her a second to get her earphones situated, because that's always the challenge. Is that
awesome?
There it is. Perfect. So thank you so much.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's perfect. It happens all the time. So for whatever reason, it gives me terrible feedback. So it's easier when you have the headphones in and then we can communicate. So
yeah, definitely.
Thank you for joining. I'm so excited.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. I was just saying before you jumped on, I don't know if you heard me, that you're all the way in New Zealand, correct? Yes.
Yes.
So it's Friday.
Yes.
Friday over there, so you're ahead of us.
Yes, Friday afternoon.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking out some time in your afternoon to talk with us and all of the viewers here in the U.S.
No
I do
worries.
have viewers from all over the United States, so this is kind of fun. They'll get to hear your
Wow.
story. Before we get started, so I kind of know you a little bit better than the rest of the people watching, so I wanted to do what I call icebreaker questions. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and then whatever comes to mind, you can go ahead and say it, and then we'll dive into your story. First question is, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in the Shetland Islands, which is a tiny remote island in the very north of Scotland, very close to Norway.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up there in the middle of nowhere.
That's awesome. Are you a country girl or a city girl?
Very much a country girl. There's no such thing as a city in the Shetland Islands.
Where do you live now?
So I live in Wellington in New Zealand. I've lived here for the past 10 years, so this is very much home for me now.
What is something you are grateful for today?
Grateful for today, I would have to say my family. So I've got my beautiful partner and our beautiful daughter. Very grateful for them today.
Perfect. If you could have lunch with anyone, who would it be and why?
If I could have lunch with anyone. Good question. I'd probably have to say The Rock.
Yeah, that would be a fun lunch.
Yeah. And why? Just because, like, yeah, I've followed him since like WWF it was at the time. I think he's cool.
That's awesome. What is a new skill you would like to learn?
I've always wanted to learn how to do hip hop dancing
Uh,
because, yeah, I can't dance at
that,
all.
that would be awesome. What is one thing you've checked off of your bucket list?
I bought a Mercedes last year. That was on my bucket list. Yes, I bought myself a Mercedes. So yeah, that was a big
That
one
is
for
big.
me.
That's awesome. Congratulations. What is the next item
Thank
or
you.
an item you'd like to check off your list?
Um, whew. I would like to host a retreat in Bali. That's one that I want to do
I will
this year.
come with. So just let me know what it is.
Yes.
A women's retreat or a fitness retreat, or what are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking, I've been speaking to another chick from the Shetlands, and she's very much into mindset. So we're thinking to merge it both together, and do like a fitness mindset. I'm very much into my cooking, so all the meals provided, so a little bit of
That's
everything.
awesome. That's really cool. I love that. Well, Lori,
Thank you.
I wanted to bring you on because I know you have a powerful story, and just because I really admire you and all the work that you do to help other women.
Thank you.
But give us a little background on us, kind of bring us up to speed. What is your story, and how did you get to where you are? And I'll let you fill
Yeah. So just cut me off if I
in.
ramble too
No,
much. I tend
Lori's
to
yours.
ramble. Um, yeah, so I suppose I became a personal trainer about 8 years ago, not long after moving to New Zealand. It wasn't really something I planned to do. I actually wanted to be a criminologist, but in Scotland, the uni tuitions are free. And when I moved here and saw how much it was going to cost me to go to uni, I was like, no way. So yeah, I decided to become a PT, and yeah, absolutely love it. I think it's been the one thing in my life that's been really consistent is I've always done this job and always really enjoyed it and growed definitely through like being a PT. Um, but yeah, my story. So I mentioned to you before, like, and this was a video I shared recently, was how I kind of managed to heal myself, um, going yeah, suffering abuse when I was a teenager. Like, I was abused sexually by a man in my life that I really loved and
Mm.
trusted. Um, and it really, like, yeah, messed me up for a long time. I like kept it to myself. I was very, yeah, just what's the word? Self-destructive. And turned to like things like drinking and partying and things like that, and just ended up in a very, very dark place. And even, once I managed to have the courage to tell my mom like what was going on, and all this came out, it was like it didn't really fix
Yeah.
things for me. It almost like became
Mm.
worse. And I was in a very, very dark place up until like, the point that I became pregnant with my daughter. And even after that, I was still like really struggled when I became a mum. I was trying to look after someone else when inside like I was still really broken. Um, so that was a massive struggle for me. And I think the big turning point was just like, I decided to go back to work, and I was in a really bad place physically. Like I was super skinny, didn't eat much, like kind of just drank wine and stuff. And yeah, when I went back to work, I was like, this is time for this to change. It's been going on way too long. So like, I hired a coach, and I really just started to focus on myself, like from the
Yeah.
inside, instead of just trying to beat myself up, like through
Mm.
training, like super hard training and signing up for things like Ironmans and stuff. Like, yeah, I just really worked on like my mindset and meditation, and yeah, like through a lot of hard work, like, in myself, I've come out the other side, and, I finally feel like at peace with where I'm at. So I'm super
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Did you hire a fitness coach, or did you hire a life coach, or what kind of a coach did you end up hiring?
Yeah, I hired a fitness coach. So it was actually one of my tutors like that did coach me through personal training.
Okay.
But we did a lot of like Olympic lifting. So I ended up doing a competition in that. So that was awesome. And yeah, but I just really like, because I'd kind of dwelled into things like, the law of attraction and that kind of stuff, but never really stuck with it. but you know, this time, like, I was fed up of going like nowhere in my life, like putting all this time and effort into things like, you know, like my health and my business, and being constantly stuck at the bottom. And I don't know what changed, but I just decided, like, you know, when I got that help with him, and yeah, it just changed something in me. And I really just made a massive effort to, like, yeah, focus on my mindset. And, you know, with
Yeah.
perseverance,
What
came through.
I remember, like, the point in my life when I decided I needed to make changes. And when I first made those, I didn't necessarily know it was a mindset thing. And fitness is kind of what saved me back in the day. But how
Mm.
did you know to work on your mindset and that you needed to change in the power of attraction? And how did, because it's crazy, but it does all go hand in hand. But a lot of people just go to one end where they go to the physical side of it, and that's where they work. But really, like, if you don't have the right mindset and you don't make changes there, the rest isn't going to follow. So do you remember a pivotal point or a point where you were like, I need to
Yeah,
my
that's
head
super important.
on my mindset?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I actually went to the doctor because, like, my anxiety was so bad to the point I was literally feeling like sick every day. And you know, I'd always really suffered with anxiety, but it was just really getting to me, like, you know, and I was just struggling, like, to even leave the house. And I went to the doctor, and, like, you know, they just prescribed like antidepressants.
Yeah. We'll give her a second to reconnect. Sometimes people get phone calls or something and it interrupts the broadcast. So we'll just hang tight for a second. Maybe Facebook broke again. Hear her anymore? Oh, she dropped off. Okay. Well, while she were waiting for her to come back, she may have lost connection or somebody may have called her. Sometimes that happens to me. I wanted to mention again, we'll interrupt this. I'll just talk about this real quick while we're waiting for it to come back. Actually, let me just see if she's there. Yeah, I can't connect her or request her yet. Oh, there she is. Let me see. Okay, let me check on Facebook. So hang with me for a second, you guys. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, here she comes. There you are.
Yeah,
You're back?
sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, back.
You're back. Perfect. That's all we need.
Awesome.
I was trying to, like, fill in the time, so I don't remember what we were talking about now. Oh, your anxiety.
Yeah, I was.
Your anxiety. They were going to give you medication.
Yeah. So
And
I
then what
think for
happened?
me, like, yeah, when the doctor like said that, I was like, oh, I don't really like want to be like, you know, reliant on medication just to be able to get through the day. So then, yeah, that's when I just decided to change, and
Yeah.
I'm, yeah, so glad I did. And my partner was a massive help. You know, he wasn't standing for any of this carrying on anymore. He was like, nah, like, and very like tough love, which was really good, because I think if people, like, you know, kind of wrap it in cotton wool, and, like, you know, it's, you don't kind of see need to change, but he was very upfront and blunt with me about that fact.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful to him.
That's perfect. So one of your videos that I watched, you talked about when you had your baby and just kind of how that whole experience was. And I forget what your whole story was about, but something like you just packed up and you left with your baby. Tell us about that, and tell us kind of how you went. I know, because I know a lot of women, sometimes they struggle when they first have a baby to kind of find their purpose and figure out that balance. And talk a little bit about that experience, because
Yeah, it was just, yeah, I think, like, you know, when I went through like, you know, being pregnant and stuff. It was just very different to how I thought it was going to be. And like, I just didn't really enjoy the experience at all. And like, you know, once I had her, I was like, I don't want to be like stuck in the house all day for the next 6 months. Like, and I don't want to go to stuff like baby groups. That's just not me, like sitting in a room full of mums and stuff. It's just, So I booked a ticket to the other side of the world. So like when she was 3 weeks old, then we went to the UK and went and visited like all my friends and family and stuff. And it was great. Definitely, like, she was so good though, like traveled like an angel, and people thought I was crazy, but yeah, that's what I did.
And that's awesome. And I didn't travel the world, but when I had my son, who's now 9, I very much couldn't stay at home, so I brought him to everything, and I still will bring him to a lot of things these days, but I think it's helped shape him into being very social, very able to carry conversations with adults or just other people in general. But like, if you baby them and you keep them in the house, then it's harder to take them out later. So I thought that was cool that you did that.
Thank you. My mom thought I was crazy.
Oh, I'm sure she did. And most people probably would, but I can understand why you did. But so you started working with this coach and your mindset started changing. Once your mindset started changing, what kind of other results did you see?
Well, I was just very much like, you know, like able to deal with like things like cravings in different way. So it took a while, but you know, instead of like, you know, getting into that habit of like having a glass of wine and stuff every night, like it would be like I would just do my cooking and do my mindset routine and stuff instead. And you know, since I've made this change, like, and you know, as you said, we were in that fitness group together. You know, like my business has just like exploded. I'm like so grateful for that. You know, I'm working like fully online now, and like, you know, with women like that I want to work with. You know, because when you're PT, you kind of just have to work with anyone because like, you know, you need to pay your bills. And you know, it can end up you just lose the passion for it because like you're with people that really don't care. So yeah, now that like, you know, I get to work from home, I get to make my own hours, I get to work with amazing women, and you know, and the results kind of have shown through that as well.
So and I will just kind of not translate, but like kind of explain. So like once you decided to work on yourself, you changed your mindset, your body followed, but not only that, so many other things in your life, like your career, we could say, totally transformed by you making that decision.
Definitely, you know, and my relationships as well. Like, you know, I'm in a really, really good relationship now. And in terms of things like money, I always struggled to manage my money, and you know, that's a way better place now as well, which makes things a lot easier.
Right, exactly. How have you found that your story has influenced you or made you into the person that you are today? But also, how does that translate into the style that you coach or the way you're able to help other women?
I think, you know, I'm very like understanding, but an understanding to a point. Like, I know like we all kind of go through stuff and there are really difficult times, but there comes a point where you just like, you have to accept responsibility. And not saying that, you know, like in terms of like, it's kind of a weird thing to say because obviously like I was abused, and like it's kind of weird to accept responsibility for that, but I accept responsibility for the way I dealt with it. And I think people need to do that in their lives to be able to move forward. Like you can't blame other people and expect to like, you know, get anywhere in life. So yeah, as a coach, like I do very much get people to accept like, you know, responsibility, and you know, and like I'm very like supportive and understanding, as I said, to a point, but to a point I'm just like, come on, enough is enough, like we've got to get this done. Like excuses aren't just gonna cut it here. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. I think that's perfect, and I've seen it throughout my life where some of the difficult experiences I have well, for one, they shape us into who we are today, but we also have to accept them to the point that they're not holding us back from anything. We can't change the past, so all we can do is move forward. And how can we take those tragic events or those challenges that we've gone through in our life and utilize them for good? But and I would say that you've had the opportunity to do that by, you know, just your path. If you think about the path that you took to get to where you are today, I mean, would you go back and change anything?
I have to say no, because I don't think you can like think like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously, like, I'm human and I've made a lot of mistakes. I really have, and
Yes.
I've caused hurt, like, to people through those mistakes. But, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I'm so grateful for the place that I am in my life right now, that you know, if I hadn't made some of those mistakes, maybe I wouldn't be here. So yeah.
Exactly. Well, that was the right answer. Not that was a test, but
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I think that is exactly the same way. If anybody has any questions, feel free to comment questions below, and we'll get to them as we go. But let's see. So you are completely online now.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about your training and what you do, and of course, if anybody has interest in working with her, you guys can connect with her. I've tagged her in this post. But talk to us a little bit about that, and like, how do you go through mindset work with your clients and help them to overcome those barriers as well?
Very much so. And it's I think once, like, what I'm really proud of what I've built is like such an amazing community, and like, you know, it's growing, and with all the women that are coming into it and adding so much value to everyone. And it's like, you know, some days, like, you know, I don't work on Sundays, but if like the women post up asking all these questions, I look on and they're all like jumped on and helped each other, which is really amazing. And then I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I think I kind of went off a little bit there. What do I do? Anyway, yeah, so I just like work with women in terms of, yeah, definitely mindset. That's a massive part. And just like, you know, as I know you probably do, like, have those mindset routines that you follow, and just like really trying to create habits that like can create lifelong change, not just like, you know, like 3-month transformation. And yeah, just by being like, you know, super supportive, and not by giving people like unrealistic things. Like, I've never been into like crash diets, or, you know, training to the point where you're just like end up injured or broken. So it's, but with that approach, like, you know, and by giving people like that accountability, not only to me and themselves, but to that group, it's, yeah, just the results are pretty mind-blowing. So it's cool.
It is. I've been in groups, and I have a group too, and it's always amazing to see how once you have that community, how everybody jumps in and is super supportive. And I think that is one of the biggest keys to success when you're trying to make lifelong changes. And I like what you said. It's not just the temporary fix of a 3-month transformation where you lose weight for 3 months and then what? What we've been taught and what we teach is really that lifelong sustainability. And again, it all starts with the mindset, but really creating lifelong change, because you want it to be a lifestyle.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. What do you mind sharing with us? Maybe one of your personal mindset routines, or something that you have found to be really valuable in the transformation you've had in your life?
Yeah, definitely. So practicing gratitude is a massive one for me. It's something I do daily, in the morning and at night. And I think it's important when you, you know, you write down and think about what you're grateful for. It's always like the why. It's easy to write like, I'm grateful for X, Y, Z, but really thinking about why is super important. So that's something I do every day. And meditation, like has like, you know, whenever I get anxious now, like, you know, I just go and meditate, because you don't have to do it for a long time, like just 5 or 10 minutes. And, you know, the effect that that has on me, like to the point where I'm so anxious, like feeling sick and just getting more and more and more stressed. And I take 10 minutes to go and meditate. And just when I meditate, I tend to repeat positive affirmations over and over again. You know, and you just wake up and you're like zen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so yeah.
So we focused a lot on mindset, which I didn't expect, but I absolutely love that we have. For somebody who's not familiar with mindset work, or doesn't maybe understand it, or maybe would like to know more, where do you suggest somebody starts with changing their mindset, and how important is that?
Yeah, so definitely trying to, I mean, the thing that I did first was read like the book The Secret.
Okay.
That's
the
so
Power
this
of Attraction book, right?
Yeah, so this is like the magic, but like
Ah,
I actually have it right here. But the one that's first is like The Secret, and yeah, then she's amazing. And I listened to The Secret like an audiobook every single day, going to work and going home when I was working at the gym at this point, and that really, really helped, just having that complete guidance and different way of thinking.
yeah.
So that's how I started. But yeah, I think definitely just simple things like, you know, writing down what you're grateful for. I always make vision boards. Vision boards are a massive part, and it's amazing. Like when I made my first vision board and the stuff that were on it, I never would have imagined. And literally, like I totally manifested my Mercedes. I
That's
totally
amazing.
believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, just stuff like that. So just trying to create your outlook and things, yeah, just by putting positive things all over your life everywhere, so you've got no choice.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And I think listening to books or listening to podcasts and just starting, like the first book I ever read, I don't have it right here. I was reading it again, so I think it's downstairs. Was You Are a Badass, and I don't know if that's a book you've heard of, but it's an American book. And that was really kind of the first introduction I had to changing your thinking, because and it's so interesting. We can talk about this for a second, and then we'll wrap up. But like when you're born and the way you're raised and all the influences you have around you are really what form your thoughts about who you are, what you're capable of, and once you get to an adult and you're like trying to figure out who you are, and like there's so much of it that you can change, and you just have to start thinking differently. And there can be lies that I'm not smart enough, or lies or stories as you call them, stories that around your mindset that can prevent you from moving forward because you doubt yourself in different areas. So like really learning how your beliefs and the beliefs that you have, like I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm this or I'm that, that is negative. Those are all just stories that you feed yourself to prevent you from going and getting those things. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Gabe Romo asked a question, and he said, and you said The Secret was one of those books. Have you read any other books that have been real pivotal in changing your mindset?
The Success Principles.
Success Principles. Okay.
By Jack Canfield. Oh, like
Yeah.
it's gold. I definitely recommend that. Those are the two big ones. Like in terms of books that I've read, I listen to heaps of different podcasts, but yeah, I definitely want to invest in some more books.
What podcasts do you like?
So I listen to Sterling Griffin's one a lot. Yeah. I listen to Manifestation Babe. She's awesome. I listen to Mind Your Business podcast, which is very like businessy, but like a very different approach to it. Like he has lots of guests on, and they, for example, we're speaking about the difference, like, you know, when you say something like, you know, I'm gonna go and lose weight, that's like the left hand side of your brain that makes that conscious decision, and that's only like about 5% of your brain. And like where habits, like, you know, are actually shifted through the subconscious. So like you say something like, I'm gonna lose weight, left brain decision, and then the right brain's like, hold on, I've been sitting on the couch eating crisps every night for the past 30 years, like, so in order to really get change in your life, you need to be able to train the subconscious, you know, and which makes up like, you know, 95% of the brain. And that's what a lot of people, like, that's where they fail, because they struggle to do this. And, you know, a lot of that is just genuinely through mindset and, you know, visualizing your life as you want it to be. Because, like, you know, the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. So if you spend a lot of time visualizing and telling yourself, like, you know, how you want your life to be, then, like, you know, your mind will take you there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really
Sorry,
cool.
got a bit off track there.
No, that's perfect. And I've seen a lot of more people talking about the neural pathways and all of that stuff, where it's becoming a lot more common. Whereas before it used to be cuckoo, or things that you're just like, okay, she's a little weird over there, but it's becoming a little bit more accepted and just scientifically proven. So, and I mean, if you think about it, our subconscious it runs our life. Like today and I had a good example of it. I was writing a text, and my niece was asking me, she's like, I love pink. And whatever I was writing, I ended up writing pink instead of what I meant to write. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. Like, that's like an example of your brain working without like one part of your brain working and making my thumbs text something when I meant to actually write something.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it really is learning to reprogram your brain and really kind of establishing new beliefs around that. So that's really good. I really like that. I'm choking, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Some water, girl.
Yeah, I need some water. My last question: what would you say to a woman who's watching, who would like to be more empowered?
Stop being so hard on yourself. Accept responsibility, and try to heal yourself like through positive ways. Get help, and don't just go to the traditional methods of like filling yourself full of antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs or anything else. Like really try and get help through like working on your soul. And just remember to smile.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for being here and taking time out of your day.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. If anybody wants to follow Lori or they have any questions that they want to ask her personally, she is tagged in this post, so you're more than welcome to send her a friend request or a message and watch her journey as it unfolds, see what car she buys next, whatever. She posts really cool fitness videos and tips as well. So feel free to follow her. Lori, you can go ahead and hit the X. And
okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
See ya.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched on the replay and you stuck with this whole time, I appreciate it. We have been at this for 8 weeks, so thank you guys for tuning in, supporting, and watching and sharing. If you know somebody who wants to learn more about mindset or struggles with their mindset, please feel free to share this video or tag them. And let's keep it going. Next week, I'm talking with a business lady. Her name is Karine. I always have to check my list. And we're going to talk about her story. I want to say hello to Israel. I sent you a message on WhatsApp yesterday, but yesterday WhatsApp was broken. So thank everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Same time, same bad place. Have a good one. Bye.